Yo, what's good, YouTube? In today's video, I'm giving you guys my top 5 metal loadouts you guys need to be using. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like for the algorithm, subscribe with notifications turned on, and let's get into it. Real quick, before we get any farther into the video, I want to tell you guys about today's video sponsor, Damn Mods. Damn Mods has you taken care of for everything, like getting Interstellar unlocked, Orion, One Trick Camo, and even some of those nuke rewards. They have some multiplayer bot lobby services to rank up your guns, and they even have some crazy bundles that aren't available to be gotten anymore. And to show you they're legit, they have over 2,400 reviews on Trustpilot showing how good they are. So if any of this sounds interesting, be sure to hit that link in the description below, and of course use code Chuck at checkout to save up to $100 off. All right, first things first, let's get in here and show you guys the optimal Kar 98K build. This is by far the best sniper in the entirety of Warzone. So I want to give you guys the best build here for it. That's going to have great mobility. It's going to have a great damage profile on it. You're going to be able to get those one shots at very long distances. So we're not going to be using a muzzle. We're going to go straight in here to the barrel section. We're going to use that 7.62 long barrel for our very first attachment. This is a must use on any Kar 98K build. You guys always should be using this. This firstly pushes out our effective damage range to 71.1 meters. That is your one shot headshot distance as of right now. We're going to be extending that out further, but that is the, the damage profile you have to keep in mind, is that's when you're getting those one shots up to that specific damage range there at the top, that effective damage range. Now we're going down here to Enterprise section. We're going to throw on the DR6 hand stop. This is to speed us up because the Kar 98 is a very, mobile sniper rifle or marksman rifle, whatever you want to call it. I'm just calling it a sniper rifle, but it is a very mobile gun, and we're trying to make it so you can actually be very aggressive with it and so it's some great long range shots. So the DR6 is going to help us out with our mobility. After that, we're going to go down to ammunition. We're going to throw on the 7.92 high grain rounds here, which is going to boost out our overall damage range, bullet velocity, all this sort of stuff, about 15% universally, which is really solid. Pushes out to 81.8 meters. If you guys want to, have that, a full 85 meters of effective damage range, you're going to have to take off that DR6 and throw on something like the sonic suppressor instead. But for me, I like running this thing a little bit loud and proud because I'm playing Rebirth Island, and for me, this exact setup works out beautifully. So the high grain is a must use though on any build. After that laser section, we're going to throw on here the SL Razorhawk laser light. This is going to help us just overall be faster. Really enjoy having this attachment on there. I've been using it quite a bit, and I'm able to get some good quick scopes off, and makes me feel very stable. I just enjoy having a very high mobility sniper rifle that's also just very good at damage range, or very good at long range, and this is really going to be a good attachment to kind of overall round out this build. And lastly, in the optic section, of course, because we have to go for an optic, we're just going to hit left here a couple of times, and we're going to go all the way down to the very end, and we have a couple options in here. So a lot of people like going for the SPX80, which is a really great optic, and it's got the 6.6 times magnification and also the 11 times. But for me personally, what I've been rocking here a lot recently, my bad, didn't mean to actually exit out of that, what I've been rocking a lot here recently is this very last optic, the range collar. This is a 7 times magnification, and this is the exact optic that comes with the Kar 98K. It's also the one that looks like the OG version of the Kar 98K from Warzone 1. So I really enjoy this, but between this and the SPX, you really can't go wrong. This is my preference right here on the range collar, but overall, here's going to be my build. And of course, here's the ability to take that screenshot and go ahead and get that. Next up, we're taking a look here at the FJX Horus. This is a fantastic SMG, and it definitely competes up there with the Superi, which we'll get in here to a little bit later, but this is a wonderful SMG you guys need to be using. So first thing in here is going to be the barrel section. We're going to throw on the Martis Heavy Barrel. This is really good for recoil control, gun kick control, just overall stabilizing this gun out because it will kick. This gun's got some kick to it, so we're going to be using this to stabilize it out. After that, in the muzzle section, once again, to stabilize that even a little bit more so, that Zeman 35 compensated flash hider, which is an absolute banger attachment. You guys should definitely run this on pretty much any of your SMGs you're looking to stabilize out. This is realistically one of the only recoil control base attachments you have to run on a majority of your SMGs. So you guys should definitely run this. After that underbarrel section, we're going to go throw on the FTAC MSP-98 hand stop for aim locking speed, vertical recoil, gun kick control, and movement speed. This is really solid when you pair everything together, just kind of speeds you up. It's also really solid if you want to run that DR6 hand stop. You guys can definitely switch back and forth between the two of these, but the FTAC MSP is really, really solid. Now to the magazine section. Well, because of just yesterday, as the time making this video, we got the conversion kit unlocked. You guys can now go ahead and run the 60 round drum on here if you so choose to go ahead and run a 60 round drum. Overall, I personally don't feel like I need to run a 60 round drum on here just because it's a little bit slower. It's not going to be a lot slower. Actually, there's going to be virtually no penalty, so you could probably just run the 60 round anyways. I guess they didn't actually even update or change it. So go around the 60 round drum. I thought there was a bit of a penalty for it, but overall 60, I guess, is going to be much better than 48 because there's no penalty. Lastly, optic section, you guys can do this or throw on a stock of your choice. If you're throwing on an optic, run that jack glassless, and this is going to be super easy to be able to see. I don't really like the base iron sights for this thing. When you throw on the jack scimitar kit, whatever, basically the new kit for this gun, the iron sights are fantastic, but overall, I don't really like the base version of the FJX Horus iron sights, so we're going to throw on the jack glassless. If you like them, maybe throw on a stock like the Ripper light stock, and you'll be good to go. So this is gonna be my full build right here. Of course, go ahead and take that screenshot if you want. Now for our third gun here today, we're gonna be getting into the MTZ-556. This is a wonderful assault rifle that's gonna be very easy to be able to use here in a variety of situations, and you can have a couple of different builds for it realistically, which are gonna work out great. So first thing in the muzzle category, we're gonna have one of two options in here. First one gonna be the VT7 Spiritfire suppressor. This is really solid at keeping you off the radar. If you're like me and you actually don't mind being on the radar a little bit, something I really enjoy doing is going down here and actually throwing on, it's gonna be down here the Camos break. When you use this and you utilize the exact build I'm gonna give you guys, it almost virtually has zero recoil, and it feels incredibly satisfying to use. It's not gonna have maybe just ever so slightly a little bit less, effective damage range because of the bullet velocity and stuff, and we're not getting, the benefits of the VT7, but I do really enjoy this. So it kind of is a little bit of a, thing where you throw it up in the air, it's like easier to control, maybe hit some more shots versus a little bit of more effective range, bounces a tad bit more with the suppressor versus the compensator. So either which way, Camos break or VT7, you can't go wrong. Barrel section, we're gonna throw in the MTZ Clinch Pro barrel. So I've had some comments, people asking me about this here. So we take a look at this. We have the effective damage range is increased 21, and then the bullet velocity is increased out 26%. But people ask, Chuck, why would you not go use the MTZ Drifter Heavy Long Barrel? So we can see a 28, but then it's only a 15%. So we actually miss out on 10%, or actually more than 10% of our bullet velocity. Get an 11% difference between the Clinch Pro and the Heavy Long Barrel, but we have the effective damage range of 52 meters for our first damage, or our longest damage drop off, versus 49.3. And to be honest with you guys, 49.3 is at the top end of pretty much most assault rifles anyways, so there's no real reason to push it out farther and get less bullet velocity. So you should just go for the very first barrel in here, which is truly going to be the most effective thing you guys can possibly run. No reason to slow yourselves down more, just to have like a couple extra meters of effective damage range, but less bullet velocity, which means that you're not going to be able to hit your shots as good at longer distances. Under barrel section, Bruin Heavy support grip here. I ain't got to explain this one too much. It's just the tried and true. You guys always should be running this. No reason for you to not run this on your guns. I mean, it's just really good for long range builds. Magazine section, we throw on the 50 round drum here. This is just kind of what we do. 50 rounds is the way to go. Never should ever run the stock or the 20 rounds. That is just ridiculous. Don't know why anybody would ever run this unless you're trying to have just a cursed build. But 50 is the way to go. And lastly, we're going to either use an optic or a stock. If you're using a stock, you're going to go in here and we're going to use the MTZ Marauder stock, which will be great if you can utilize those iron sights. So if you guys want to do that, that'll be great. If you're playing Rebirth Island, this is my preferential way to run this gun. Or you could throw on the jack glasses for your optics. So either throw on this, or you guys can take that off and throw on something like the jack glasses and be totally good to go either which way. For me personally, MTZ Marauder, this is my build. And of course, here is the ability to get that screenshot if you guys want that. Up next, we're gonna give you guys a build here for the Superi 46. This is undoubtedly pretty much the best SMG in the game right now. And there's a variety of ways to run it. You can make this into so many different guns if you're trying to convert it to make like an OG Warzone gun, but we're not trying to do that. We're just trying to give you guys the meta setup for it. So first thing is going to be the ZM-35 compensated flash hider. You guys should always go ahead and run the ZM-35. This is ultimately the way to go, no matter which way you are going to be building this thing. Barrel section, there's a couple of different ways people like to run it. I've seen people run that Bore 99 short barrel, which is definitely really solid, but you can also run the Zulu OP3 light barrel, which is my personal preference to run it because I really enjoy the ADS movement speed, which is behind my face cam, that you get a 14% increase to your ADS movement speed. So you can really, for real, be like, wiggling back and forth while you're ADS, and that gives you great rotational aim assist, and it makes you a harder target to hit. So ultimately, I feel like I'm significantly better using the Zulu light barrel as opposed to the Bore 99 short. And I also don't lose, sort of bullet velocity and range with this barrel as opposed, I lose it with the Bore 99, not the Zulu. On a barrel section, couple options in here. Realistically, you can go for the XRK Edge if you guys want to go for that. Because you get an ADS movement speed, a benefit of 7%, but the DR6 gives you 5%. So it kind of boils down to, do you want a little bit more sprint to fire here with, the DR6, or do you want just a tad bit more, on the ADS movement speed? You can go for the DR6 XRK Edge. It's realistically not going to make a huge difference. Just try out you know, and see what works best for you. But I'm gonna throw on the DR6 here for this build. I've tapped magazine section, of course, throwing on the 40 round mag. I don't think you guys should ever go for the stock magazine on this thing. It just doesn't make sense. It never has really made sense. The only gun you could probably get away with that is maybe the Vel 46 because it has a 40 round mag stock. That's about the only gun I could say you could potentially get away with it. But even then, I pretty much throw a mag on there anyways. Lastly, in the stock section, there's a couple options in here. I know people like that Jack Cutthroat because it's got crazy aim walking speed, but we're actually pretty much zooming around the map anyways. I'm just trying to be a little bit faster. And that Rescue 9 stock, I'm telling you right now, when you put this exact build together, you're going to be dominating lobbies. You're going to be just the best out of your friend group. So you guys should definitely run the Rescue 9 stock and try this exact build out. Of course, here is the ideal build. Get that screenshot while you can. And for our final gun here today in this top 5, we're going to be giving you guys a build here for the Holger 26. Obviously, there has been a ton of nerfs to the DG58, and that is no longer in the meta. It hasn't been here for a minute, but I haven't made a top 5 since. So we're gonna give you guys the updated build here for the #1 LMG. So first thing, of course, is gonna be the VT7. You guys don't need to go ahead and run a compensator on this. It doesn't really make sense. I mean, it's not like you get a huge recoil benefit. It's not like it makes a real big difference. This gun just feels very, very nice with a suppressor, and you get more effective damage range and bullet velocity, all that sort of fun jazz. 5, and 8% increase, which is really solid. So you guys should just go ahead and run this. Barrel section, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go run the Holger factory barrel. Basically, this is the largest barrel in here. We get, you know, bullet velocity and range, recoil and gun kick control, all this sort of fun stuff, giving us a 20, 20, and 10% increase, pushing us a little bit closer to the 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity. And it does help, of course, with our recoil. So we're gonna be really dominating at range, which is ideally what this thing is for. It's exclusively for long range. Underbarrel section, we're gonna go throw on the Bruin Heavy support grip here. This is just what we should be doing here because we're not really gonna need an attachment for the magazine. It just doesn't make sense to throw on a magazine attachment. It's got like 60 rounds, the mag as is, so we don't need to go and alter that. So we can utilize, you know, an attachment to stabilize it out even further. So the Bruin Heavy is gonna be for that. Of course, next in the optics section, we go throw on the Jack Glassless. You guys could probably realistically get away with throwing on like maybe the Corio Eagle Eye 2.5x if you wanted to, but for me, I just go ahead and run the Jack Glassless. I'm playing Rebirth Island, and I feel like if I'm outside of Jack Glassless, you know, ease of use distance, that means I probably don't need to be engaging them, and I need to get closer to engage them more effectively. Probably because they're gonna get a res off, or the teammates are nearby. You guys kind of get what I'm saying. So throw that on there. Lastly, in the stock section, throw on the Ascent Lord stock, or the Ascent Lord stock. Kind of mispronounced that, but really helps you out. Aiming idle sway, recoil control, gun kick control, and firing aiming stability. So this is my full build here for the Holger 26. Of course, here is the ability to get that screenshot. That's been my top 5. You guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe, notifications turned on. Check out this other video on screen. I'll see you all next time.